I would like to introduce Dr. Shweta Menon. Dr. Shweta Menon is currently the Assistant Professor at Eternal University, Baru Sahib Sirmaur, Himachal Pradesh, India. And her topic of presentation is smokeless tobacco and corona, time to address legislations on smokeless tobacco in India. Welcome, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are
You are
very.
audible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Is it mandatory to start my video?
No, not necessary.
Oh, okay. Then I'll be more comfortable. I think I might switch it on in the end. Okay. This is how I'll be presenting my topic, moving from background, legislation, use of SLT, and way forward. It is more of a commentary or a viewpoint, which the co-author of which is Dr. Amila Bisht, who is a professor in Center for Social Medicine and Community Health in JNU. So next slide, please. Yes. So I have been listening to the speakers, and they have very well articulated in the previous two presentations that how has COVID changed our approach to the already existing problem of tobacco use in India and worldwide. But when we think of tobacco use, India is the largest. In India, the largest users of tobacco. They use smokeless tobacco, which sets us apart from the global community per se. So WHO called attention to the fact that smoking might help to transmit the virus, where we talked about how does it impair our lung function and of the like. But when we talk of smokeless tobacco as such, uh, the use of smokeless tobacco, it is no secret that use of smokeless tobacco, it creates a lot of, it increases the production of saliva, and it is followed by a strong urge to spit. So the saliva droplets travel only to transmit infections such as corona, which puts SLT and equally perilous in an equally perilous frame for the transmission of virus. However, most of the reports have focused on vulnerability of smokers in combating corona in the early stages when we went through the newspapers or media reports as such. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the problem of SLT, it's not a recent problem in the country. The Global Adult Tobacco Survey 1 and 2, they have very clearly put out that most of the consumers, 21.4% of them, of the total aged 15 and above, consume SLT. It is interesting to note that the laws against the spit of smokeless tobacco have been present in India even before independence. If we talk about Health Act of 1939, in Madras, the Health Act of 1939, under which fine can still be imposed for spitting in public. And there are few Indian states which have anti-spitting laws in place, but nobody has been fined due to various enforcement glitches. I remember in the last presentation also when Dr. Rakesh summarized it, and he told that implementation is a big issue. That is what we are focusing on, that the enforcement glitches have always been there. So, and most of the municipal laws also in the country have laws which prohibit smoking and have a system of fine in place. For example, in Delhi, the sanitary inspectors in municipal corporation have the power to impose fine, which do not get translated due to lack of enforcement staff. So the draft of sanitation bylaws 2016 under Swachh Bharat Mission, it mentions that a fine of rupees 250 in municipal corporation catering to a population of 10 lakh and above, rupees 100 in municipal corporation catering to population of between 1 and 10 lakhs, and rupees 50 for municipality of less than 1 lakh. So when we talk of Kotpa Amendment Bill of 2015, which was placed in public domain by the government to get public suggestions, only to be withdrawn in 2017 and then again being placed, it has it has explicitly laid down that use of smokeless tobacco and the associated spitting causes various diseases like like tuberculosis, H1N1 virus, avian flu, and now of course COVID. Next slide, please. Before I move on to use of SLT and associated implications, which are, I think, self-explanatory, I would like to draw our attention to countries such as Singapore, who've banned spitting under Section 15(3) of the Environment Public Health Regulations in public area. So, point which is very important is that it was done as early as 1970s when TB was seen as one of the most infectious diseases worldwide, and it was believed that spitting intensified its spread. So in early 2000, after 30 years of the law, the campaign against spitting was again revived when severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, outbreak in the country as it spreads from through droplets from mouth and nose. And incidentally, Singapore has been one of the most effective countries in battling with the spread of corona. So when we talk of SLT and associated implications, it is the socio-cultural denominator of India is such that in some places in India, the consumption of tobacco in women is very much normalized, culturally and socially acceptable. So as a result, it affects their reproductive health system from adolescence to their adulthood. So India being the oral cancer capital of the world and sharing such huge burden of oral cancer, it becomes very important for us to look at this problem of smokeless tobacco in India. We have been focusing on smoking. We have been focusing on more on smoking due to, next slide, please. So SLT has always got a stepmotherly treatment till now, although things have changed and things are changing, but the share of legal cigarette, which is 10% of the total tobacco products consumed in India, generate a revenue of 86%, and 90% of other tobacco products in India generate a revenue of 14%, SLT being one of them. Next slide, please. Yeah, these points are very important, which are like a key challenge in the tobacco policies, which we've always faced, that we are detached from the micro level realities surrounding the individuals. It has been suggested that there is a recursive, meaning repetitive relationship between the structure, which are the external forces, acts, laws, resources, and social systems, and agency, which means the capability to make a difference. There is a recursive relationship between the both. This is to say that both the structure and agency influence the tobacco use behavior in an individual. To give an example, the poor health practices in a community, such as tobacco use, are important to understand. Simultaneously, the absence of any knowledge provided on tobacco use by government is important in understanding why the health practices are poor. So it will not be wrong to say that there is a recurrent relationship between the health outcome, the health practices, and the facilities provided on stopping tobacco use by the government. Next slide, please. Yeah. So when we talk about how do we prevent the tobacco use, these points which I mentioned, they've already been in place. The campaigns till now seem to be very bland and boring campaigns where we reach out to the normal public and talk in their language. But if you might have seen a recent rap released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on the use of smokeless tobacco and associated spitting related to spread of corona, it has come as a fresh air on an anti-tobacco campaign. And secondly, when we talk about counseling, it is of course regarded as one of the best practices of tobacco control. Also, the population level campaigns have significant public health impacts because they are very cost effective and feasible to implement in a resource crunched environment, especially in low and middle income countries, India being one of them. And individually focused interventions for tobacco, they have very limited control on influencing the tobacco use among the population. Apart from counseling, if we talk about, I think in the first, Dr. Jain talked about the role of dentist and how tobacco cessation, centers and training is being provided to them. But I want to bring attention to this very underrepresentation of dentists in the bare-bone public health system of the country. For example, less than 20% of the primary health centers across India have a dentist, and at the level of CSCs, having a public health dentist is still a distant dream. So out of, this is 2018 data, that out of all the dentists registered in India, only 2.7% of the dentists were working in the public health sector. So this is a very, very important point to make. Me being from a dental background, I think the government needs to, tighten its role on the provisioning of dental services as well as employment of dentists in the public health system. Lastly, we should not be ignoring the weak institutional support or structural issues. We should not be only reducing it to individualism, but we should also understand the context of tobacco use, the socio-cultural context in which the use of tobacco is placed. Last slide, please. Okay, although we've had a global treaty in place and the subject of tobacco control in India has come a long, long way, yet India has to bring the has not been able to bring, tobacco control from the back burner of political presidents to the forefront of the global agenda, especially smokeless tobacco, and form it as a part of now a sustainable development. And finally, I would like to conclude by saying that this period during Corona, it should be used as an opportunity to address the limitations which we have experienced earlier to tackle the use of smokeless tobacco. The major limitation being the implementation and the enforcement glitches and the lack of enforcement staff in all the sectors when we talk of intersectoral collaboration in tobacco use. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shweta, thank you so much for highlighting the points on role of dental professionals. I, being myself, a public health dentist and been working in tobacco cessation for quite some time, I realized that how important the role of dentists is. And I'd like to inform you all and to Dr. Shweta also that the National Resource Center on Oral Health and Tobacco Cessation is currently underway in our institute at Maulana Azad Institute of Dental Sciences. And very shortly, we've actually already started with the webinar training campaign of all dental colleges. And we look forward to developing more structured and programs which are implemented at ground level across the country. And really nice presentation.
Thank you so much. Looking forward.